guys, welcome back to Talk Story with me, Kelsey Sugai. Here I am with Kampai today, who is running for mayor of Honolulu. Kim, thank you for joining us here on the show.
Aloha, Gavin, and aloha, everyone.
So Kim, why are you running to become the mayor of Honolulu?
Well, I'm running to fight for my daughter and her future and all of your future. As a mother of a 5-year-old, I'm deeply concerned about all of your ability to be able to live here. I've come from 4 generations of immigrants who've settled here, and this is our home. But increasingly, I believe that it's harder and harder to survive here. It's becoming a place where only the rich can survive. And I don't agree with the way that government leaders of the past have led this city. As mayor, I would fight really hard to ensure that Oahu becomes affordable again, that it's safe, that it's ethical, that it's efficient, and most importantly, resilient, with an economy that no longer depends on the outside world to feed us and to employ us. We've seen how our overdependence on one economy of tourism has caused a great catastrophe amongst all of our lives. If we had done a better job of diversifying our economy, where we grow jobs here on our own, we would not be in this situation. And that's something that I've been working on in the last 2 years at the Honolulu City Council as chair of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee. Within 6 months, I believe we can be ready to go to start various different multi-billion-dollar economies that grows jobs here and doesn't depend on only tourism.
Thank you for your response. So let's go back in time for a bit. Let's talk about your days as a soccer player, because soccer was a big part of your life in high school, as you were a member of the Hawaii Olympic Development Soccer Team, and you also used to be a former soccer coach. So athletics has been a big part of your life. Now, what role does athletics play in your political career today?
Well, it taught me perseverance. And of course, after I got injured, all the pines have bad knees. And so finally it hit me, at a certain age, and I realized that I couldn't play soccer at the high level that I did before. And so I switched to canoe paddling and swimming, and did the Waikiki rough water swim several times and finished at about an hour and 15 minutes. It was not too bad for someone who didn't know how to swim before, and then Molokai Channel with Huilana Kila. And what athletics does is it teaches you how to work together with other people who are very different from you, especially in canoe paddling, right? You all have to paddle, no matter whether you're tall or short. You have to paddle in the same stroke. You have to overcome disagreements of how fast that stroke is, how long the stroke is. And you have to find a way where everyone can move together as a team. One of the symbols of our campaign is the V formation of the birds, right? If one bird flies alone, they cannot possibly go through hard winds alone. But if they are together, they can fly through these difficult winds and actually be very efficient. And as a team, they can accomplish amazing things that they can't do by themselves. And so athletics is like that. And you also are taught in athletics, how do you overcome challenges? I have been through many situations where we were supposed to lose games, where we were outnumbered by talent, but because we believed that we can achieve great things despite the odds against us, we persevered. And for me, more than ever, all the things that I have been taught through athletics helps me today in this crisis. While everyone sees darkness and ruin, I see an opportunity to change Hawaii for the better. I see the possibility of us working together again instead of all the different silos. We've kind of become like this American type of economy where we're not doing that local thing anymore, where we take care of each other and make sure that no one's left behind. I see an opportunity to go back to that Hawaii, into a Hawaii that doesn't have an economy that takes and pillages the land and ruins it forever, but an economy that actually gives back to the earth and takes care of the earth, and where we grow our own products and develop our own products and sell to the world.
Thank you for that response. So let's talk about the Leeward side of Hawaii, because you're very big on the Leeward side. So tell us about how the higher Leeward job and career fair began and the reception were given from it?
Well, I started the Higher Leeward Career and Job Fair and the Higher Leeward Initiative overall, which is a whole year, when suddenly HMC West, Hawaii Medical Center West, suddenly closed just overnight. I had 400 people out of a job, many of them husband and wives of the same household, losing their jobs overnight, and we were really in a crisis. In addition to that, there was a lot of companies that sold products to HMC West. And so we realized that my district of Ever Beach, at the time, I just represented the Ever Beach area in the House of Representatives. We were in a serious crisis. And so we created a job fair to show the people who lost their jobs, and we brought over 70 employers that had over 1,000 jobs to give out within the area. And so we had that job fair, and we thought maybe 800 people would show up and we could manage that. But several thousand people showed up, and we realized that people came that didn't even lose their jobs because we were advertising finding a job close to home. And for Leeward residents, we're in 2 to 4 hour traffic a day before COVID, when unemployment was at its highest, was at its lowest, excuse me. Mm-hmm. And we realized that people just wanted a different life, and many of them loved their job, but they wanted to spend more time with their family. So after that big response, we decided to do this every year. And so since then, my team and I have helped over 6,000 Leeward residents to quit their jobs in town and get a job down the street from their home, saving them 2 to 4 hours a day. We're getting feedback where moms and dads are getting to put their kids in AYSO again, where a wife told me, for the first time in 20 years, this is a hotel executive, I get to have dinner with my husband and I have a life again. And so we're very excited about what we've accomplished. Of course, in COVID, we have a lot of work to do now to get our economy going again, but we have the basis and the knowledge of how to do this and put it on a mass scale for the whole island.
And I definitely seen some of the effect of it because I used to go to UH West Oahu. I actually just graduated from there with an accounting degree, and they talk about it over there. So it's very big on the Leeward side.
Yes.
So let's talk about your involvement with sustainability, because you've been very vocal about sustainability and how we need to keep our INA safe. So do you think Hawaii is heading in the right direction, and what more needs to be done?
I think we're doing better now. I'm very excited and proud of what we've done on the council. My 2 terms that we've been on the council, we have been the most innovative council in terms of understanding the effects of our behavior on the planet, on our island, on our state. We passed the most sweeping legislation of plastic ban, the most sweeping legislation in the nation, where we are getting rid of as much plastics as we possibly can and things that we can recycle. We are getting rid of styrofoam in the future. We're getting rid of paper bags and other things like that. And so, not paper bags, but plastic bags. And we are requiring that all of our buses switch from fossil fuel and oil to renewable energy, that all of our cars and our fleet within the city is going to do the same in the future. We're going to be requiring all of our buildings to be run on renewable energy. And so we're really looking at lowering our carbon footprint. One thing that I've really pushed for with Dr. Moore of University of Hawaii is I want to partner with him and his idea to plant 1 million trees a year for the next 10 years. And if we do that, we will become the first carbon neutral city in the world. And we're starting to do that. We did 10,000 trees just to test things out. There's a lot of things we've got to work out. There's a watering issue. Who's going to water the 10,000 trees? So when you first start, if we're going to do it in mass, we realize, okay, you got to do it where it rains a lot first. And so they, of course, moved to the North Shore area And of course, we're going to be looking at other values. I'm trying my best to plant some trees up in Palihua, which is in the hills of Makakilo. Very complicated. It used to be a lush place during King Kamehameha days, but he, of course, was given the gift of cattle, and he says, okay, I'm going to kapu this whole mountain and let the cattle just run free so that we can have food for our people someday. And unfortunately, the cattle destroyed pretty much everything, and then eventually destroyed and killed all the trees. And so a lot harder to plant things up there, of course.
All right, so we're gonna head off to our second portion. And real quick, just for, I've already explained to you, Kim, but I'll explain to the audience. So there will be 5 questions. I know I'm holding up 10 a little bit, but 5 questions. And Kim will have 2 minutes each to answer each question. I will start off with the first question. So give me a thumbs up if you're ready for the first question.
Great, thumbs up.
Cool. All right, so the first question is, what is one way we can diversify our economy outside of tourism?
Well, we can do specified agriculture that will work in many ways to promote unique products that only Hawaii can do together. An economy that we can start within 6 months is our ulu harvesting economy. I've been working with partners within the University of Hawaii, Dr. Tusi Abagalio, who is from the Hauula area, but leads the Polynesian section of the business school there. He is about to sign partnerships with over 80,000 farmers over all of Polynesia, working with kings and queens from different countries, where we will import their ulu or their breadfruit to Hawaii. A lot of people don't realize that there's a huge new demand for breadfruit throughout the world. It cures certain diseases. They discovered it has certain moisturizer products that only can be found in the liver of a shark. Asia kills over 1 million sharks a year and spend billions of dollars for the moisturizer they found that's now found in the flower of the ulu tree. There are also gluten-free breadfruit flour that's in high demand because it rises just like regular bread, where other gluten-free products kind of are like a rock. So you're eating a bread rock. And also there's this new plant-based diet promoted by Arnold Schwarzenegger that they believe is going to be a multi-billion-dollar economy in the next 5 to 10 years, where the ulu is the preferred plant for the plant-based diet. And so by cornering the market worldwide, we can put Hawaii on the map as the place where we process all of these things. And we have new inventions that can help process it efficiently, inventions that can make water from the air, inventions that can take trash and turn into energy. And so there's many different economies that I believe we can get ready to go.
All right, so give me a thumbs up if you're ready for the next question.
Okay.
Cool.
Got it.
The next question is, the community on Oahu are split over issues such as renewable energy infrastructures and recreational complexes. How do you plan on getting everybody to come into agreement on these community issues?
Do you folks have examples of what you mean?
Okay, give me a second. So like the Sherwood's project, for instance.
Oh, okay, got it. Got it.
So I'll start now.
So the real question is the division between, building Sherwood Forest into a recreational complex versus not building. And I've tried my best to understand this issue. It's not my district, but from what I've discovered and heard, many years ago, some kupuno got together who were very respected and said, let's have another sports complex. And then over time, I guess over a decade or even 14 years, I've heard is that it came back, but with very little public input. And during that time, many of the residents have discovered the importance of that area, where they believe that their ancestors are buried there. It's designated as a national site where people are buried. And so that was really where the conflict arose. To me, the most important thing to value in people's lives as a government leader is their own personal political and religious beliefs. If it is someone's religious belief that this is a sacred area and it's something that is to their core, we should always respect that. So whether it's Sherwood Forest or the Mauna on the Big Island, we should make sure that we never violate people's constitutional rights, and that's their rights to religion and their rights to their political and their cultural beliefs.
All right. What will you do in the first 90 days if elected as mayor?
On the first day, I would declare a state of emergency on homelessness. I would use the CARES Act money to build 5,000 tiny homes spread out throughout Oahu on both government land, both state and city land, and private land that would allow us to build those things and build tiny villages to make sure we can move anyone that's homeless there where they can grow their own food, they can have water, they can have showers. And also with this crisis, I expect a lot of people to become homeless unexpectedly. I want to make sure that they never find themselves on the street or in their cars, that they have a safe place where there's security and there's everything they need while they get better. I would, in the first week, make the changes that I've wanted to make to the Department of Planning and Permitting, which is the department that for whatever reason over time, they've had a lack of staffing or a different belief from mine, where it can take from 1 to 2 years to get some basic permits just to fix up their home or build a home. And I believe we've lost $5 billion to our economy because of those delays, where people had to cancel projects because the interest rate changed, or the contractor went on to another job and they got a higher bid in that they couldn't fix. I believe that would bring another $1 billion to our economy. Should we fix that department right away, which I know what to do because of what I've done on the Zoning and Housing Committee as chair. I would also use some of that the CARES Act money to invest in new technology to help to build other types of economies where we grow homegrown jobs right here.
All right, thank you for that response. So we'll go on to the next question, and then just give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready to go.
Ready.
Cool. So what is more important, acting in response to the will of the people or acting in the way city officials believe is the best course of action?
Both. Because sometimes you need both. I've seen a lot of government leaders make decisions without input of the people, and that is where the conflict arises the most. If you have conflict from the very beginning, you always have a problem when you're enacting either a government policy or building something, for example, in Sherwood Forest or TMT, right? So you have to go through the government process to understand the different perspectives of people. If you're building a typical project in a certain area, the people of the area must be involved no matter what it is, even if it's a good thing, like a daycare for children or a homeless shelter for people in the area. You have to involve the people to make good government decisions. However, having the experience, and I've been very blessed to have 15 years experience both with the state government and the city government, having knowledge and experience of how government works, what government can and cannot do, the limitations that government has, and also the things that they can do better than anybody else, is very important to add experience to your decision making. A lot of people that have never done this before, we have two businessmen that think that they can run government like a business. And I used to think that too. I said, let's just run it like a business and let's make cuts and let's do this and let's do that. And I realized right away that government has to follow different laws. In a private sector world, you can be an executive and say, okay, we're losing them $10 million a year. We're just going to cut this department and we'll be done with that. In government, you can't just say, okay, we're short $10 million. Let's cut lifeguards. Let's cut all the police department. Let's cut the...
All right, last question. Give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready to go.
Okay.
Cool. So what is one change that you would make in order for city council to be more effective?
I would enable them to talk to each other a little bit more in a non-public setting so they can let out their grievances that they may have with one another and come up with better solutions. Sometimes you can't make decisions, especially when you're adversarial to each other. You have to calm down a little bit, and you have to find a way to work things out. And I think that's been the problem with city councils, and even in our neighborhood boards. The neighborhood boards can't even go to a beach cleanup together. Especially if they're going to vote on telling the city council, hey, you have to add a bathroom here, or you have to stop homelessness here, or you have to fix the jungle gym set. The city leaders from the city council down to neighborhood boards, they can't collaborate outside of a committee meeting. And I think that's really hurt the city. I understand that people say, oh, we need these laws so you don't make these backroom deals. And I get that part. But it should at least be changed so that you can collaborate on good projects together where you're not going to be voting on something so specific. You should be able to show up to certain events together if it's going to benefit the community.
All right, thank you for those responses. And last question, since you're on my show, Talk Story, what does Talk Story mean to you?
It means to share laughter, share experiences, talk any kind. It means to sometimes just talk about nothing important, but really it is important because you're just spending time together.
Cool. Thank you for that response. And Kim, thank you for joining us here on the show and sharing your heart with the community about why you're becoming mayor, and good luck to you as well.
Thank you so much, Gavin. And thank you everybody out there. Don't forget to visit my website, votepine.com. I'm very honored to be on this show. And for what it's worth, I'm probably the candidate that's closest to you in age. So I understand what you're going through and I understand your struggles. And I want to let you know that, I fought to build 4,000 affordable housing units. Gavin, you'll see in Kapolei that we built a lot of different buildings. I'm not sure if you know that some of those rentals are as low as $500 a month in the heart of Kapolei, and I've been so proud to build that. I have 4,000 more units coming, and I really believe that if I'm elected, that we can make Honolulu affordable again, safe, keeping you safe from COVID, keeping you healthy. We can have a more efficient government, an effective government, and especially an ethical government. I fought corruption in government. We put Chief Kealoha in jail. We got the federal government investigating the rail project, and we're going to bring change to the city together. But most importantly, with my experience of creating new economies that we're going to start in 6 months, that we will have a resilient city that is no longer dependent on tourism. We will grow our own jobs, have our own inventions here in the future. We'll keep the smartest people here and have the best education. So I want to let you know that there's hope in the future. And I hope to be your mayor to show you that you can live here, stay here, and thrive here. So mahalo nui loa. Love all of you guys. Don't forget to vote and vote for Kampai for mayor. And go to votepine.com.
Awesome.
Thanks,
and
Gavin.
I'll also leave your social media links as well. They'll see it in the video as well. So, and I'll leave it in the
Thank you
as well.
Awesome, Gavin. You take care.
You too. And
Bye, everybody.
Please remember to vote. It's a very important election for a lot of different positions. So please educate yourself, know who you're voting for, and just go out there and vote. Thank you guys for everything. We hope you have a great day.
Awesome. Aloha.